Hey guys, so today we're going to be looking at word problems that deal with the systems of inequalities. After watching this video, hopefully you should be able to write a systems of inequalities, graph it, and then find a couple possible solutions to a word problem. Those are our learning goals for today. All right, so here's the type of problem that you are going to be seeing. It says Chuck is buying wings and hot dogs for a party he is hosting. I guess he'll be hosting this party virtually right now. One package of wings costs $7, so that's important. And hot dogs cost $2 per pound. So I always like to underline the important stuff. He must spend less than 40, and he wants at least 4 pounds of hot dogs and at least 2 packages of wings. I want to know how many packages of wings could he buy and how many packages of hot dogs could he buy. And there's several answers that will work for this, but we're going to try to figure out all of the answers that will work for this. All right, so first thing that we need to do is we need to define our variables. We need to figure out which one's going to be X, which one's going to be Y. So we're working with two things, the number of hot dogs and the packages of wings. So it's not going to matter which one you call X and Y, but you just need to make sure you write it down. So I'm going to do let X equal the number of packages of wings he buys, and let Y be the pounds of hot dogs. All right, so I'm going to start with writing an inequality that deals with the money. He wants to spend less than $40. Okay, and I know how much wings cost. I know how much hot dogs cost. So I'm going to start by writing... it costs $7 per package of wings. Well, I called that X. So $7 per however many packages of wings he buys. So that would be 7X. Plus, he's going to buy some hot dogs. And those are $2 per pound. So I'm going to say it's $2 times however many pounds of hot dogs he buys. And I called that Y. Now, right now, this is the equation that's dealing with cost. So he wants to spend less than 40. So here's what he's spending right here. He wants that to be less than $40. He can't go over 40 because he's spending $7 per package of wings and $2 per pound of hot dogs, less than 40. So there is one of my equations. So I have my first one. Okay, my next piece of information is that he wants to buy at least 4 pounds of hot dogs. That's going to be its own inequality. So at least 4 pounds of hot dogs. Well, let's see what hot dogs were called. Those were Y. Okay, so I'm going to put Y. Here's how many hot dogs he buys. He wants that to be at least 4. At least 4 means bigger than or equal to 4. So this equation deals with my hot dogs. Okay, or this inequality. All right, my last one needs to deal with how many packages of wings he's going to buy. He wants to buy at least 2 packages of wings. So my wings I called X. And again, he wants to buy at least 2. That means he wants 2 or more pounds of or packages of wings. So it needs to be bigger than or equal to 2. And here is the inequality that is for his wings. All right, so there are actually 3 inequalities here. We have not done one that has 3. You do it the same way as we do the other one. So we're going to go to a graph on the next page, and we're going to try to graph this and find a solution for these. All right, so I already set up a graph for this. So first thing that you would want to do when you're setting up your graph is you're going to want to label your axes. So if X in the last, on my last slide was the wings, I need to make sure I label that down on my X axis, and I'm even going to put an X down here. Okay, so we should always label that. And then Y was my hot dogs, so I labeled that on the side, and I'm going to put a Y up here. Okay, now these first equations, we have not graphed them in a while, so I want to kind of go over it. So if you have an equation that says X is greater than or equal to 2, so I want you to just think about that. That's the same as graphing a line that says X equals 2. Okay, the inequality, all that does is to help me with the shading. So think back, how do you graph a line that is X equals 2? Well, basically that means if I was writing a bunch of points on this line, it would be 2 comma something, 2 comma something, 2 comma something, 2 comma something. Every single X coordinate is 2. So that is going to actually be a vertical line. Now, before I draw my line, I want to think to myself, is this going to be dotted or solid? Well, it's going to be solid because it's got the equal sign. So I'm going to draw a line through X equals 2. Okay, here it goes. Okay. Okay, cannot go into the negative, so I'm just going to stop it right there. Okay, so I have that line already. Now, if I want to do my shading for this already, I'm going to pick a test point. Maybe I'll choose 0, 0. This is a super easy one to test. If you plug a 0 in right here, is 0 bigger than or equal to 2? No. Okay, that does not work. So I'm not going to shade over here. It's got to be over on this side. So I already know if I just kind of grab a highlighter, I'll just use a blue highlighter because I highlighted this in blue, that all the points over here are going to work here because he needs to have bigger than 2 pounds of wings. So now let's go to our second inequality, and this is y is bigger than or equal to 4. Now, again, when you graph one like that, it's the same kind of thing. If you were making a table, every single y coordinate would be 4. It'd be something comma 4, something comma 4, something comma 4. So if I did that, I could do like 1 comma 4, 3 comma 4, 5 comma 4. That's going to be a horizontal line. Again, it's got the equal sign, so it's going to be solid, and it's going to be going like this. Okay, now again, if I want to test my shading already, let's test 0, 0 in this red one up here. So is 0 bigger than or equal to 4? Nope, not true. So 0, 0 does not work. So I'm not going to shade here. Down here, I need to shade above the pink line. So I'm going to grab my pink highlighter, and I'm going to shade above the pink line. Okay, so far, hopefully you guys can see where the overlap is. It's somewhere over here. Okay, because I've got blue and pink in this section. Okay, now my last line, I'm going to have to do a little bit more work for. Oh. Okay, so if I look at my blue inequality right up here, I'm going to write in orange now. I need to solve this so I can graph it. I know it's going to be a line because it has a y and an x, so I need to solve it for y. So first thing I'm going to do is subtract 7x from both sides. Okay, and now I have 2y equals negative 7x plus 40. Okay, one more step. I'm going to divide everything by 2. So I end up with y equals negative 7/2 x plus 20. Okay, now again, I left out the inequality sign because I'm just worried about graphing it for now. So I need to start, my y-intercept is going to be 20. So I need to come way up to the 20, put a point up here. Okay, now from there, I need to go down 7 over 2. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 over 2, put my point. Do that again, go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 over 2, put a point, go down 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That put me over here, over 2. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to my original inequality right here, and it was a less than symbol. So this is going to be a dashed line. So I'm going to make it dashed, dashed, dashed. Okay, it can't go below 0, so I'll stop right there. It can't go above 20 right here. So there's my last inequality. Now I need to do a test point to see where the shading is for that orange line. So I'm going to, again, test 0, 0. Okay, so I'm going to plug it in the original. So back in that original blue one. So I'm going to do 7 times 0 plus 2 times 0. Is that less than 40? Well, that 0 is less than 40. That is true. Okay, so that means I am going to be shading, if I grab my highlighter, I'm going to be shading down in this part, okay, below the orange dotted line. All right, so the last thing we have to do is figure out where was the overlap in general. So the overlap, it looks like it's right here. I have orange, pink, and blue in this section right here, this little triangle section. So I'm going to even just make that a little bit darker. Maybe I'll do that in green so we can see it. So this right here would be all solutions that would work. All right, so we found our final region with all of our solutions. So now let's try to interpret it. So remember, Chuck was trying to decide originally how many packages of wings he should buy and how many pounds of hot dogs. So let's see if we can come up with a couple possible solutions. So this would be something I might ask you. So how many pounds of hot dogs and how many packages of wings could he buy? So I'm going to come look in this region and see if I can find a point that works. So I see here 3, 6. That's a pretty clear point that works. So he could buy 3 packages of wings. So I'm going to fill the 3 in right here and 6 pounds of hot dogs. That is one possible solution. Let's see if we can find another one. Maybe he could buy 3 and 8. That's another pretty clear solution. So he could buy 3 packages of wings and 8 pounds of hot dogs. Okay, there's probably more. Now, what you could also do is actually check to see if that's correct if you went back to your original inequalities. All right, so to check, I could kind of come back to here. It was $7 per package of wings, and if I said 3, that would be 21. Plus, it was $2 per pound of hot dogs, and if you bought 6, that's 12. Is that less than 40? Yep, that definitely works. And then again, hot dogs he had to buy greater than or equal to 4. So 6 is okay, 8 is okay. And wings, it had to be greater than or equal to 2. So 3 is definitely okay. So both of those solutions work, and I just kind of tested it out. So that is graphing a systems of inequalities. Yeah. All right, so after today, here's what you guys should be able to do. If I give you a word problem, you should be able to write a couple different inequalities from the word problem. So like in the hot dog one, you know, we did 7x plus 2y is less than 40. You would have to be able to do something like that. And there's always going to be at least 2 inequalities that you have to write. There could be more than that, okay? But you'll have to read through the word problem, figure out what to write. Okay, that's your first thing you should be able to do. Second thing is you should be able to graph a system of inequalities and figure out where the shading is. So today in the video, I did it where I graphed each one separately and shaded a couple different times and found the overlap. You could also graph them all first. So you could have graphed, and then tested the different regions. That would be okay too. And then the third thing is you need to be able to interpret solutions to the systems of inequalities. So like we just did, how many wings and how many hot dogs could he actually buy? So now you're going to try a couple. If you guys are having a hard time with this, please let us know in the question section and we can video chat with you, or I can do another example, but you just need to let us know.